Hi everyone, it's Wade Webb at Royal LePage Kelowna. I'm joined here again with Daryl French from LendingMax, and for a number of years you and I have been working hand in hand. I'm on the real estate side of things, you've been on the financial and the mortgage side of things, and teamed up together, and we're successful in our relationship and how real estate professionals and how mortgage professionals can work side by side and work together and do a better job than we want for our clients and for our customers. So today we want to talk about that and explain how mortgage brokers and how real estate professionals can work closer, can do a better job for each other and for our clients, and ultimately the customer is going to benefit from that relationship. So thanks, Daryl. Let's just start off in some of the things and some of the why do you think that there's such a hesitation with real estate professionals and mortgage professionals working on a closer relationship and working towards trying to give better service and better customer products and services in regards to the real estate transaction?
Honestly, I think it's lack of experience. Lack of positive experience. If you haven't gone through the positive examples of where these teaming up situations can really benefit you,
right?
You have that very protected attitude. It's my client, I want to protect my clients.
Right.
Where on the other side of it, by teaming up with somebody, you end up having more contacts. And everybody comes at things from a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to talk to a client a little bit differently than I'm going to talk to a client. By having those different approaches, you're going to hear certain messages, I'm going to hear certain messages. By pooling those resources together, we're going to get a much better picture of the client and what they're looking for and how we can better serve them.
Right.
And I think that's a key point. I think the other key point is, I think a lot of realtors out there are not that confident on the financial side, on the mortgage side.
Yeah.
You know, what is required, what is needed, what is going to work, what is not going to work, and some people don't want to ask those questions. Like,
right.
You know, do you have a job? Do you have a lot of other debt? Do you have things that could be a problem?
Right.
Okay, and so I think that's another great opportunity where again you can team up together, and it's not the good cop, bad cop, but
Sure.
really it's you're passing them over to me to ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you go and show them homes.
Right.
And I think that kind of synergy and working together not only helps the relationship with the clients and deliver a better product to the client, but I think it also makes the client feel like they're really being taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, yeah, I'm going to go show you houses. Are you pre-approved? Oh, okay, go off to your bank, get pre-approved, come back and let me know.
Right.
You know, they're not feeling like they're really being helped through the process.
Yeah, for sure.
And we do this stuff every day, so we get kind of casual about it.
Yeah.
But really, most people, as you said, buy a house every 8 to 10 years.
Sure.
So they
Been a while.
forget the things, right?
Right.
So the more that we can do to really tighten up that package and make them feel comfortable, the better it is for the clients.
So other than bringing in that other voice, bringing in that third party, bringing in that professional that'll ask those tough questions and that, what are other benefits to us as real estate professionals on having a tighter relationship and having having you part of that process with us and our clients?
Where do most realtors waste the most amount of time?
Well, number one reason why deals are collapsing is because of financing.
Okay, so they're not getting, so prior to the sale,
Right.
there's a whole bunch of work being done. Realtors are out showing clients homes. Realtors then spend all the time writing contracts, negotiating prices back and forth, and it doesn't matter if you're the listing realtor or the selling realtor, it affects both sides.
Sure.
So by bringing in the financial person right up front on day one, and this
Sure.
applies to purchasers and listings.
And sellers,
It's no different.
And so explain to us how it applies to a seller, because I think a lot of times we just think that this only applies to a buying purchaser and a buying client. How does it pertain and how does it benefit the seller?
Well, you see it all the time. It's amazing how many deals get frustrated prior to closing or at the time of closing because there's not enough equity to close the deal.
Right.
Right? The deal's upside down. There's more debt on the property, and by the time real estate commissions come out, mortgages get paid off, legal bills get paid, all of that kind of stuff happens. There's not enough money to clear the title.
And with things in equity squeezing in the last 4 or 5 years, you're starting to see not a tremendous number, but there is a good number of people that they are possibly upside down or possibly need to stay because there isn't the equity, there isn't enough money to close on that. And wouldn't it make sense before you've listed someone's home, before you've put it on the market,
spent all your money
and time in that, getting a bona fide buyer to buy this property, and the next thing we know, we're short on cash for the seller. seller, not the buyer, for the seller to be able to pay out and to close on this transaction. And now we look bad as listing agents. We're frustrated as buyer's agents, and we have a very embarrassed and running away and hiding seller, and we have an incredibly angry, homeless purchaser on our hands. And this all could have been avoided by
Very
getting
easily.
someone in earlier in the process and up front.
The little things people forget to find out about is the prepayment penalties. When you're selling a property, sometimes that mortgage isn't portable. Okay? So you might get dinged. All of a sudden, there could be a $10,000, $15,000. That's very average today. $10,000, $15,000 prepayment penalty. All of a sudden, that comes straight out.
Seller's equity's gone.
Seller's equity's gone.
Yeah.
And so there's things like that. We can go through and step through all of those processes with the client ahead of time, and then go to the realtor and say, here's what's available.
Right.
It helps out not only to close the deals, but it also helps out the realtor on pricing the deals.
Right.
Clients, how often do clients say to you guys, well, I need to get 350,000.
Never.
Right? I need to get whatever
for
it is.
sure, all the time.
Okay? They're saying they need to get it because they're looking, I need this amount to buy the next house.
Correct.
But that's often based on an uneducated guesstimate.
Sure.
So if we can sit down with the clients and come up with a real plan,
Yeah.
okay, create the plan, these are all your costs, these are what you're going to get from it.
Right.
All of a sudden, this is the purchase price that we're looking at, it all makes sense, and that may actually help the realtor put a more realistic listing price on the property.
So bring in the mortgage broker. Help them discover and help the client discover, the listing agent discover, and the mortgage broker discover that maybe they don't need as much and maybe they can afford to take less, and that will help us in our pricing battle with our sellers. And it helps us also, secondly, avoid the uneasy and terrible feeling of that we're upside down and we shouldn't be selling this property and we shouldn't be putting this product. And I think it all boils down to getting the mortgage professional involved much, much earlier in the listing process and much, much earlier in the buying process. So now that we've looked at the selling side and how we can benefit from the seller side, go ahead.
Yeah, one more point on the listing side. You say when it should be brought in. You wouldn't believe the experiences we've had where realtors have brought the mortgage professional in on the listing presentation.
Yes.
All of a sudden, we're starting to ask these questions, and it's amazing. As soon as you start to open up on the financial, as soon as a client starts to open up on the financial stuff, you completely change that relationship.
Right.
Okay? By bringing them in at that point, you just change it from, oh, that's just one of the many people, to, I've just divulged a lot of my personal information to that person, and that bond is starting to be created. The sooner you can do it, the better chance the realtor has of listing that property.
And pricing it better.
So it's not once you've listed the property.
Right.
Honestly, you should be bringing in that mortgage, but doing the evaluation prior to taking the listing.
Yeah, and most common, I would say, in our industry, we're seeing it when the purchase contract is done and its subjects are removed and it's firm and binding and the ship has left the port and we have an oil spill like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So definitely breaking that ice and getting that whole discovery and doing that right at the listing presentation, what a huge benefit for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And then moving
Change
back
your relationship with your client.
Absolutely. And then changing and moving back to that purchaser side, the benefits to you involved earlier in the buying presentation and working with the buyer interview and bringing you and I into that and servicing that purchaser earlier in that stage.
Same concept. It's creating that plan. It's, if you're showing people $700,000-$800,000 homes and all they're going to qualify for is a $500,000-$600,000 homes, that's your time.
Right.
You're wasting your time.
And kiss of death, if I may, because nothing worse than showing somebody something they can't have. You've lost that purchaser.
They're embarrassed.
Done. They're embarrassed. They're done. They disappear and they fall off that radar. And they always want that house that they can't have at the price that they can only afford, thanks to the mortgage professional telling the sad news.
Exactly, right? And so, again, the sooner you bring us in, the mortgage stuff should be gone through prior to showing any houses. Get a ballpark on what they're looking for, yes, but then go through the evaluation, find out exactly where they stand. And at LendingMax, we do it a little bit differently. We truly believe in pre-approvals. So when we do a pre-approval, we expect to get from the client the job letters, the tax returns, the confirmation of the down payment, all those things. Because I'm sure in your experience, Wade, once or twice, clients may have been inaccurate on their income levels.
They might have embellished.
Just a titch. We go through and we get all the supporting documents up front. Our goal then is that just the property has to qualify.
Right.
Okay, that's a huge difference. Most of the pre-approvals you'll see out there, clients have given the lender nothing.
Right.
Okay, they've told them their story and they said you qualify for approximately this based on this. If you write an offer, bring in your supporting documents and we'll confirm everything. Okay, that's putting everybody at risk and your time at risk.
Right.
Okay, we go through it a little bit differently. We educate the client on the process, why we're doing it, the advantages to them, because there's huge advantages to the client,
Right.
as well as to the realtor, and it's going to improve all of our relationship because again, they're opening up and they're increasing that bond with the team, so they really feel like things are being taken care of for them.
Great. So just to summarize, there's a huge benefit in getting the team involved earlier in the process, bringing in the person at that listing presentation, bringing them in at that buyer presentation, deepening your relationship and giving them a sense that they're being taken care of and way above and beyond what anybody else is taking care of them by bringing in more people in that. Deepening your relationship and your trust with those people by bringing in a professional and bringing in someone to do that. There's no obligation to anybody. It's enhancing your listing service, your buying service with clients. It's avoiding a lot of common problems and issues that we see, and the number one reason why deals go south. And so if you want to eliminate that deal buster, if you want to eliminate that embarrassment and all that frustration, if you want to increase your value proposition to your sellers and your buyers and bring them in early into that presentation and bring them into that process and that. So any other tips or anything in closing?
Well, I think there's another aspect to this. There's part of dealing with the purchase and the sellers, but there's also a lot of realtors have pretty big databases. And my experience is they're always looking for real positive reasons to be reaching out and touching their database to keep themselves kind of front and center and delivering value to their client throughout that, whatever the time frame is between this and their next purchase. We do mortgage reviews for clients, and it's one of those amazing tools that realtors can pass on through to their clients, where we can sit down and they're not making any changes to their house, but we can sit down and help them start planning for that next purchase. Simple things like mortgage renewals. In Canada, the vast majority of people, well over 50% of people in Canada, renew. I believe it's about 85% of people in Canada renew with their existing lenders. We know for a fact that the majority of those people are renewing at posted rates on their mortgages. Okay?
Meaning paying more than they should.
On average, you're paying over 2% higher than you should.
Yeah.
Okay? That on a $250,000 mortgage, that's going to be between $15,000 and $20,000 in additional interest cost over the next 5 years. Okay? So this is a great reason for realtors to be reaching out to their clients and encouraging their clients to go through a mortgage review to make sure they're not signing that mortgage renewal without getting a second opinion on it. These kinds of things. So they're adding value throughout the life of their mortgage, or throughout their life of owning that house, not just when they're buying and selling.
Right. So agents out there, take advantage of this type of service and get another reason behind, a value-added reason behind, and contacting your database and meeting with your clients. There's no obligation, there's no cost to your customer, so why wouldn't you do it? Consider, and not consider it, but just get out there and bring these professionals in earlier in the listing stage, earlier in the buying stage, and build better value and avoid those common pitfalls in buying and selling real estate. So I hope you see value in this, and thanks for your time, and thanks again, Daryl, and have a great day.
Thanks very much.